Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Master J. Thank you for tuning back in. I got a banger video for you guys today again. Today we will be watching a video about a Mexican pilot back in the 1970s, some 1976, something like that. He was apparently taken over while mid-flight by aliens, pretty much used as a mic so they could talk or communicate to air control. And apparently the Mexican government knows about it and tried to keep it a secret, but MrBallen managed to get the transcripts and everything, the whole story, which we will be watching in a second. And at the end of that, we will be watching the actual real audio transcript from the YouTube channel Area 52, and it's going to be very interesting. So let's get into the first video from MrBallen. I love that guy. He's a great storyteller. I've been watching his YouTube channel for years now. So let's get into it and enjoy the video, guys.
I know that you are a consumer of the strange, dark, and mysterious.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be a Ballen episode if I didn't tell you a story.
Yes.
And so we actually looked for a story that would specifically resonate with you.
And I'm so excited right
and I
now.
also, the way we got the story, this is the context part. This story isn't really on the internet. Like, we heard references to it.
This is
and we tried to
part.
find the source material for it, but we couldn't. Like, we literally looked, we couldn't find it. It's a story out of Mexico. And so we finally had our Spanish language researcher track down this library in Mexico that had a copy of this story. There was a very unique recording and transcript, and it's being stored like locally at this library in Mexico. And so the way to access this story is you can't just like contact the library. You have to write them a letter to get access to this story.
To hear a story?
To just read the transcript.
To read a transcript.
In the story.
That's crazy.
The story without the transcript, not really
serious,
a good story. You need the transcript.
Something must be true, huh?
So we followed their steps. We contact the library and we get access to the story, and they're like very weary of what we're gonna do with it, but they're like, okay, be careful with this one, right? Because it's like
I don't know. MrBallen, as I said, is a storyteller, so I don't know if he was the right person to give this to because he tells everyone. So
sensitive story from Mexico.
Okay.
So that's the setup. So
this is, by the way, let's just stop. Great setup.
Great setup.
I mean, I don't know where this is gonna go.
It's good,
but I'm fucking in, dude. I mean, you set up like a Bond story. Like,
pretty good.
I had to like request access through fucking headquarters.
I know, right?
To hear a story.
Making it exciting for everyone.
Okay. So in June of 1976, there's this 23-year-old kid named Rafael Perez, and he's training to be a pilot. And he flies his training missions, if you will. He's a civilian. So he flies his training flights out of this airport in Chimalacán, Mexico. It's about 3 hours inland from Acapulco. And this kid, he's flown many times, but always with another pilot. So he's learning how to fly a small plane, like a Cessna. And on this day in June, he's gonna fly on his own for the first time. The flight profile was very simple. You're gonna take off like you always have, fly in a loop, come back and land. Nothing more to it. You're basically demonstrating you can do it without panicking on your own.
Yeah.
Right? And keep in mind, in 1976, the controls, the instruments inside of the aircrafts were pretty rudimentary. Like they didn't.
He said it was his first flight alone. Imagine spending so much money for flight lessons and hours. You need a lot of hours to get your pilot license. I know it because my big brother is actual captain from Delta Airlines, so I know what he had to go through. Now imagine you're flying your first time alone and something like this happens. Let's see.
Have GPS systems. It was sort of like you had like your compass and you had your altimeter, but honestly, a lot of flying was literally dead reckoning, like looking out the window and just seeing where you were, right? So he takes off at 9:15 a.m. It's June 23rd of 1976. He takes off. And right away he notices that it's very foggy, and this was something he knew on the ground, but from a dead reckoning perspective, looking out the window, he's got limited access to reference points on the ground. So he really has not really a good sense of where he is. He's using his instruments and he's sort of guessing when he's supposed to make this turn, to bank around, to come in and land. But on his approach back to the airport, he's successfully done this flight. He can't quite find the airport. Like, he's struggling to see it. But at a certain point, based on his instruments, he realizes he's off course, he's lost. And so he tries calling in with a radio back to the control tower to be like, I'm lost, like, I'm letting you know, it's gonna take me a minute. He doesn't really hear back from them. It's sort of garbled static. And then he realizes, oh, I need to fly back left. I need to go left. So he takes the yoke, the steering wheel, and he tries to bank the airplane left. But the airplane doesn't go left. It just continues flying level at 7,000 feet.
That would be scary
in a
enough.
Straight line.
That would be
and he's thinking,
scary.
okay, there's clearly some sort of issue here. It's okay. He's not panicking. He hops on the radio and he says, hey, I'm having some issues. I can't go left. He tried going right. Nothing's affecting the plane. It's flying straight at 7,000 feet. He hops on the radio. He starts.
Imagine the thoughts that come to your mind when you can't control your own plane and you're the only one in the plane. Yeah, that would be kind of scary. Screw that.
Starts talking like, what do I do here? I can't do anything to my plane. And as he's trying to get a hold of anybody who's not getting back in touch with him, but we have his voice being recorded into this radio, the plane actually begins to climb. And he's not pulling back on the yoke. He's not making the plane climb. The plane is climbing on its own. And so it begins to climb, and the way the fog and mist was, is there was like this big, like huge cloud that he was basically flying into. So he's ascending up to like 8, 9, 10,000 feet. He can't go left, can't go right. He's just going straight up into this cloud. And so he can't see anything. He's like in a void. He's totally panicked now. He can't get a hold of anybody on the radio. About the time he's totally obscured in the clouds, he feels this overwhelming tiredness come over him. And he passes out, just passes out in the cockpit. He wakes up in the cockpit, has no idea how long he's been asleep for. Could have been a second, could have been days, but he's immediately shocked that, holy cow, I did not crash the plane. Like, I know I just fell asleep in the plane. But a couple things immediately become clear to him. First of all, his plane's still flying. He's still in the air, he's still coasting along, right? But he's back down to 7,000 feet. He was climbing before, now he's back down to 7,000 feet. He also looks out the window and there's no more mist or fog or anything like that. It's actually just the open ocean underneath him. And immediately he thinks to himself, I took off from this airport that's 3 hours inland from the coast. If I went in a straight line, and he looks at his clock and it says 11:30. Took off at 9:15, 10:15, 11:15. So 2 hours and 15 minutes from the time he took off. I'm doing the math right. It's below 3 hours. What body of water am I over? The amount of time that has transpired that apparently I was asleep for is not enough time for me to arrive over any body of water. That flashes through his mind. In addition to that, he looks at his gas gauge and it's at 3/4 tank. And he knew that not only is that way too high, but he wouldn't have had, even if he had 3 hours, he would.
Imagine not having control over your plane and then you pass out randomly. First you panic and then you pass out. And then you wake up, you don't know where the hell you are. Another reason to panic. That's crazy.
Wouldn't have had enough gas to reach any water body. So wouldn't have had enough gas, but have 3/4 tank of gas. Also, again, how did I get here? I have no idea how I got here. Has no idea where he is. And as he's like coming to like, what's happening here? Somebody chimes in over the radio and goes, hey, are you there? And he grabs this radio and he's totally frantic. He's like, hey, I fell asleep in my plane. I don't know where I am. And there's a pause, and this is all recorded. There's a pause, and the guy on the other end, he introduces himself sort of cautiously. He's like, hey, this is Carlos. Are you alone in your airplane? And Rafael is like, of course I'm alone. Like, where am I? What? I think I fell asleep. I don't know what's going on. And Carlos's reaction is just sort of, okay, well, listen, here's what we're going to do. You're just off the coast of Acapulco. And for the last hour, you've been flying out over the water. You just kind of showed up, right? And by the way, going back to the timeline, he arrived off the coast of Acapulco now an hour earlier. That was 10:30 in the morning. Took off at 9:15. Takes 3 hours to get there. He apparently did it in about an hour and 15 minutes. So he's circling over the water. And Carlos is like, hey, just come into the airport where I am. I'm going to get you in there. You're going to land, and we'll talk to you then. And so Rafael is just happy to be alive at this point. He comes in. He lands at the airport in Acapulco. And as soon as he gets off, there's these people in suits that are there to meet him. And they immediately take him. They detain him, put him in like a black car. He's asking what's going on. Nobody knows, or they don't tell him. And they drive him to a hospital. And he's the whole time saying, I'm so sorry about the craft. Please tell where I flew out of that I'm sorry about the craft. I hope it's not damaged. They bring him to the hospital. They drug test him right away.
He can be happy he's alive.
On drugs, he's sober. And they also have a psychologist come in and they give him a profile, make sure he's sane. And she did.
I think that would be the last thing I would be worried about, the plane. Like, you just survived passing out alone in the plane and kind of managing to land it. So yeah, I wouldn't care about anything else. I would want to know what the hell happened.
Determines that he is. And so the whole time, Rafael has no idea what's happening. He doesn't know what they're doing. He doesn't understand any of this. And so finally they say, okay, we're going to tell you what happened. So when you showed up off the coast of Acapulco at about 10:30 in the morning, which no one understands how you got there, it's not possible. You showed up on the radar screen of who you were talking to, Carlos, the air traffic control guy. And he talked to you for an hour while you were out over the water. That whole time you were circling, you were talking to him, and it was recorded. And I'm going to read to you the first thing that Rafael said to Carlos. And you're going to see in a minute why Carlos's first question when Rafael came to was, is there somebody else in the plane? He said in a very deep, almost robotic voice, when Carlos saw this blip on his radar at 10:30, he said, hey, who is this? You're flying over Acapulco's coast. What's going on here? The voice came back and said, the pilot is speaking, but not of his own free will. We are using him as a microphone. Your equipment is too primitive. It is not important who we are or where we come from.
Why they gotta throw
only that we are
jabs though?
inhabitants of the same universe.
Why they already have
For the
to
next
bully us?
30 to 45 minutes, the voice
Your equipment is too primitive.
projected through Rafael talked about humanity is the only intelligent species in the entire universe that uses warfare and conducts violence on each other. And you
That's a crazy part if you think about it. They said we're the only intelligent species that actually still kills each other pretty much, or deletes each other. Let's say it that way, as YouTube, you know. Sometimes I ask myself that question. We're in 2025. Why do we still need reasons to eliminate each other? It doesn't make any sense at all. Humans are just still so primitive, and it's annoying. But yeah, I kind of believe that part.
You are poised for a nuclear holocaust, and you may be exterminated if this continues. And then at about 11:30, Rafael wakes up, and his voice changed completely. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on? I think I fell asleep at the wheel." And that's why Carlos is like, "Wait a minute, I've been talking to you for an hour." And he's like, "Is somebody else in the craft with you?" Right? No one has any idea how Rafael wound up over the coast. They examined his plane. Nothing wrong with his plane. It really was 3/4 tanks of gas. Didn't make sense how it got there. Nobody knows. Rafael has no idea how he got there.
But wouldn't it be on the radar, kind of? Like he was talking to air control, so.
And now you can only access it in this obscure library in Mexico.
Like there should have been something on the radars in air control, you know, like either his dot like disappeared and reappeared somewhere else, or they should have seen like a very fast shift. But I mean, it should be noted.
That's a great story. That's
And
a great story.
so what's your take on what happened?
First of all, great job telling the story.
Thank you.
He's good. He's really good at it. You guys should
There is only
check out
one
MrBallen.
summary you could get. You know, either this is like I guess it's two. It's either a bipolar schizophrenic who is having a pretty crazy episode, or there's another being involved, which is more exciting, more entertaining.
But if he was bipolar, wouldn't the Mexican government not try to hide it? You know, like wouldn't that actually make for a great story and no reason to keep something like that secret? So, and the fuel situation in the 3 hours, I don't know. What do you guys think?
We're in the era now.
Type it in the comments then.
The government being like, yeah, we have stuff.
UFOs are real.
Yeah, and we have aliens, and they've been here, and
Hell yeah,
other places
UFOs are
have them
real.
too.
Aliens are real.
And most people just go, oh, cool. Like the thing that we used to make a movie about as being like, can you imagine if there were aliens? And everybody would go like, that would be fucking wild. And then
Yeah,
now we're
but
like, here we have
everybody
them, and
secretly knows that there's aliens. Like the people that don't believe in aliens, I'm sorry, but I don't know, man. That's a very kind of short distance way of thinking, I would say. Everyone's excited about it. I think if I would find out for sure that we were the only ones in the universe, the only ones in this huge ass universe, I think it would make me feel sick, like physically sick probably. But if the governments, if all of them, I mean, I heard that the Mexican government actually already admitted to there being UFOs or outer space vehicles that we don't know about, UAPs they call it now. But if we would know for a fact that, like, I mean, I know but I don't know. You know what I mean? So if we would actually get like 100% confirmation that there's aliens out there, wouldn't that be great, guys? Wouldn't that be great? I would be so happy. I would want to know. I mean, I already do want to know everything, obviously, or I wouldn't be watching all these videos or making these videos. So, but you guys know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Everyone's like, yeah, it's very strange, right? Like that. There's like congressional testimony.
I know
about aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's heart even skipped a beat. I thought we would all stop and be like, no way. Nobody cares.
I know some of the footage that's been released, that some of the videos of these apparent UFOs.
Yeah.
I mean, either it's incredible CGI, which is entirely possible, but I think the idea that there's this like widespread conspiracy by the government to like what dupe us into believing that maybe that these aren't real or something, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the problem is we're advancing kind of fast, especially with AI, the CGI, the deep fake stuff. You know, it's funny. All the the like UFO videos that we've seen in the past will always, you know, how they're always blurry. You never can tell, and everyone's complaining about, oh my gosh, why can't it just be more crisp? I mean, everyone has phones. It should be more clear. We all want that, but once we get it, there's videos out there with clear footage. Oh, it's fake. It's AI. So pretty much, the only way you and I will for 100% believe in these videos, even if you do somewhat believe into it in these videos, maybe not 100%, is if you see it for your own eyes, with your own eyes. If you see it with your own eyes, I think that would be like the, you know, the smoking gun for me personally, because I don't know what I can believe anymore. There's just too much fake stuff online. And the blurry videos, they also seem fake, so you can't win. You can't win in this situation.
No. Doesn't.
Actually, if Trump came out, the American government came out and said, folks, I got to tell you something. We got alien beings or something, you know, something like that. UFOs are real. Aliens are real. That would be enough for me to believe it, you know? That would really be enough for me to believe it, I believe. Or, I mean, I'm in Germany right now. Even if the German government came out and said that, I would believe it. Any big government. So, yeah.
Aliens? I mean, are extraterrestrials, life outside of humans?
So for me, it was always like, when you have, and I don't even have the full comprehension of it, but when you have some grasp of the idea of the size of our galaxies in the universe, it becomes, for me, it just always felt like too arrogant to be like, it's just us.
Yes, that's how I think too.
I stand with you firmly on that point.
Yeah, and then like, I think the natural thing is that you just become naturally more curious, you know? My wife is a huge, like, dude, it's all day. She's like, you know what this guy just said about UAPs? I'm like, I don't know. And she gives me like,
that's great. I wish my wife was like
read
that.
Back the transcript
She's like,
from like,
yeah,
the
I believe in them, but
like,
whatever.
Oh,
She doesn't really care.
That's pretty good.
Not like
but
I do.
honestly, it's made me realize that it is a more exciting thing to like,
of course it is.
think about and talk about. And then, I mean, I think the natural thing is like, it feels like it's almost like being crumbed out for us. You're like, yeah, but where's the next thing, right? Like, when are we gonna see or
Yeah, I want
hear
to see.
from
Imagine
something?
talking
You know,
to
like,
an
you just want
alien
more.
being.
The
You
that
talking
point
to an
exactly,
alien being, that'd be
I think it was
crazy.
Neil deGrasse Tyson who gave this example. I don't know if it was him, the astrophysicist guy.
Yeah.
He was like, humans think that if there were alien life, extraterrestrial life on Earth, that effectively we believe we could just simply identify it. That
Yeah.
we would view it as like a three-dimensional being, let's say.
Right.
But he was like, think of it this way. What are the odds, or I should say, when you walk down the street and there's an ant on the ground, are you like, I want to get down there and talk to that ant?
Right.
No.
No.
You might step on the ant. You might not even notice the ant. Go even lower than that, to like algae.
Well, if ants could talk, imagine every creature on this planet could talk. I think I would talk to every single one, to be honest. You know how interesting the life of an ant would be? I would definitely talk to, or a grasshopper, spider, stuff like that. I would talk to all of them. That would be super interesting. So I don't know what he means. I wouldn't step on it. I'm getting off track again.
Are you like looking to communicate with algae? No. What's to say that we are not equivalent to an ant or algae to other beings?
It's a great point.
Suggesting if there were higher beings on this planet, it's very arrogant to say we would simply, one, they'd be interested in us.
Yeah.
Are you interested in algae? Or two, that we could even recognize them as anything close to what we are. Algae and humans couldn't be more different in terms of their makeup.
Yeah.
And so it's like they could absolutely be here, but they're four-dimensional.
Imagine the aliens watching, like they're just like trying to figure out, and they just pull up this clip.
Well, I understand what he's saying, but at the same time, I think communication is key. So if even an algae could communicate with you, you would be interested. You know, if it had thoughts, if it could like plan his future, stuff like that, I would be interested in every single being I could communicate with. Animal, it doesn't matter if plant or animal. That would be crazy. The problem is that we only can communicate with each other. We only know how a human thinks. We can't even say or know how a dog really thinks or really feels, because we can't truly communicate with it. They understand a lot that we say, but not on the way that you understand what I'm telling you right now. So yeah, I think the communication is key.
And they're just like, look at these two fucking ants, like talking about the dumbest shit.
Two
We don't want
ants.
to waste our time with these.
I would have a beer with an
morons.
ant if it could
There's
talk.
also the theory that it becomes, it feels like fantasy, but I don't know. You can let your mind kind of embrace the idea that certain humans, you're like, that's a reptilian. Like, you know what I mean? Like like these evil, like these like innately evil seeming people. And,
Yeah.
And I don't know, that they're already here. You're like, it's kind of fun to play with that idea.
I like to believe, man.
Yeah,
I do.
it's fun. It's fun.
Me
So
too.
for you, I mean, you've been successful in so many different mediums. You just got renewed for season 2 of Bad Thoughts, which
Yeah,
is amazing.
awesome.
You've sort of done like all of it. What's the next chapter? Like you described evolving. I mean, you've done a lot of that. What's next?
Honestly, it's I keep doing as many of those things as you can, and then I have a movie this summer I'm really excited to do.
Good for you, but I guess that's kind of off topic now, so we are gonna go. Thank you, MrBallen, for explaining the story. I hope you guys like that. But now I told you guys that there is the actual transcript from the YouTube channel Area 52, which is also a great channel. You guys should check it out. Sub. I love his videos. They're just very, very long usually, but like if I'm interested, I will watch the whole thing. So let's get into this part. I already snippled out the important part for you guys. We're just gonna listen to the transcript. That's it. Okay. So let's go and get into it.
Now, this is such a baffling case, and so I would give anything to listen to that message. And in fact, we do have a small snippet of it. Listen to this chilling snippet of this being channeling Rafael.
Imagine hearing that. That's crazy. And it's real. I don't think it seems confusing at all. They are watching.
Crazy. He took off from Mexico City. Should have been a routine solo flight.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys. That's crazy, huh? What you guys think about it? So I kind of do believe that in that story, especially because of the fact that the government's keeping it so secret and it's so hard to get the full transcript and everything. I would love if you guys would let me know in the comments what you think about the story, if you believe it, if you don't, if you think it's a hoax or, you know, clout chasing. Like and sub, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.